Alright, what we're going to do is we're going to look at some out of this. And what we're going to do is look at polygons and polygrams. So we'll just read what Israel Regardie's put. It says the point within the circle represents the operation of Kether in general. So that's when you got to go over here. And we've got to, this is where it's tricky. Even though all this is garbage, it's still a trail. So it says the cross within the circle is chokma, which is 2. Right here. The triangle within the circle is bina. Square within the circle, chesed, however you pronounce it. So, and it says, and it says the point within the circle represents the operation of Kether in general, and the cross within the circle that of chokma. For therein are the roots of wisdom. In using these lineal figures in the formation of talismans under the Sephiroth, remember that what we just went over, and that the meaning that the remaining Sephiroth should have the double, treble, or quadruple forms of their lineal figures bound together in their talismans. For example, in the heptangle for Netzach, the heptagon and the 2 forms of the heptagram should be united in the same talisman, the extremities of the angles coinciding. The endecangle is attributed to the klipoth, the dodecangle to zodiacal forces in the Malkuth, which the endecangle is the 11. We'll look over in a minute. It has to do with the klipoth and then Deuteronomy. And then you've got the dodecangle is the zodiacal forces, which is 12. Kether hath the primum mobile, chokma the sphere of the zodiac and the command, and Malkuth that of the elements. So I'm trying to make it to where you can go back and freeze it and then look at it. So we're looking at the triad, and it says, and many other meanings are bound together in the lineal figures besides those which are given in this book. 2 or more different lineal figures may be bound together in the same talisman. Bound and binding is the same word. So, it's just like the human beings now, they're bound to all this right here. They're bound to it. And it says, the triangle is the only lineal figure into which all surfaces can be reduced, for every polygon can be divided into triangles by drawing lines from its angles to its center. And the triangle is the first and simplest of all lineal figures. It refers to the triad operating in all things, to the 3 supernal, Sephiroth, and the Bina, and the 3rd Sephiroth in particular. Among the planets, it is especially referred to Saturn. Remember, I don't have an... Yeah, here you go. If you know what the AA is, the coins, these coins from AA is a circle with a triangle on it. So I don't have one. But it's that logo right there. That's the AA logo. Because remember, a seal is a force. So what we're doing is I'm trying to just, if you'll just listen, because we're going to go into this dialing pad right here. You're starting to learn how the same way you communicate with somebody through the air on a phone is the same way all this is technology, we'll say the word that, to talk to the other side. And it says, among the planets, it is especially referred to Saturn, and among the elements to fire. And as the color of Saturn is black, and that of fire red, the black triangle will represent Saturn, and the red fire. The three angles also symbolize the three alchemical principles of nature: salt, sulfur, and mercury. The square is an important lineal figure which naturally represents stability and equation. It includes the ideal of surface and superficial measurement. It refers to the quaternary in all things. Quaternary, town square, 3 square miles, Times Square. It's like everything that you see in the towns and the cities, all these symbols have to do with it. There's forces containing these souls, which they're not. It's just the spirit guiding what's in them, uploaded through AI. But it says the square is an important lineal figure which naturally represents stability and equation. It includes the ideal of surface and superficial measurement. It refers to the quaternary in all things and to the tetrad of the holy name Yahweh, operating through the 4 elements of fire, water, air, and earth. It is allotted to Chesed, the 4th Sephiroth, and among the planets to Jupiter. And as representing the 4 elements, it represents their ultimation in the material form. The pentangle can be traced in 2 ways, reflected from every second point when it is called the pentagon, and reflected from every third point when it is called the pentagram. The pentangle as a whole is referred to the 5th Sephiroth, Geburah. The pentagon naturally represents the power of the pentad, operating in nature by the dispersal of the spirit and the 4 elements through it. You got a pentagon. The pentagram with a single point upwards is called the sign of the microcosm and is a good symbol, representing man with his arms and legs extending, adoring his creator, and especially the dominion of the spirit over the 4 elements, and consequently of reason over matter. But with the single point downwards, it is a very evil symbol, the head of the goat or demon's head, representing the abasement of reason beneath the blind forces of matter, the elevation of anarchy above order, and of conflicting forces driven by chance above God. So if we're going to get that out of here, Google, all right, so Gabe's store logo. So, I mean, it's like, let's go right here to images. You see that right there? That's an upside down pentagram. Yeah. Tip Star logo. And right there it is. I'm getting my light in it. See it? That's with the point down. Alright, so when you see, that's on all of the units and all that shit. Everywhere. And that's a force. It represents materialism. It represents dark demon forces. And it's everywhere. It's the American Girl doll logos. It's everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. And it says it represents the concentrated force of the spirit and the 4 elements governed by the 5 letters of the name of the restorer of all things, Yahweh. And it is especially attributed to the planet Mars. It also shows the cherubim and the will of the spirit. It is a symbol of tremendous force and of He, the letter of the great supernal mother, Aima. Hexagon and hexagram. The hex angle can be traced in 2 ways. Let me get it to you. Alright, so the hex angle can be traced in 2 ways. And we're not talking about all the symbols around them. We're just talking about the symbol itself. The hex angle can be traced in 2 ways as a complete symbol. Reflected from every second point when it is called the hexagon, and reflected from every third point when it is called the hexagram. The hex angle as a whole is referred to the 6th Sephiroth, Tifereth. The hex angle naturally represents the powers of the hexad operating in nature by the dispersal of the rays of the planets and of the zodiac emanating from the sun. The number of degrees of a great circle cut off between its angles is 60, forming the astrological sextile aspect, powerful for good. It is not so consonant to the sun, nature, as the hexagram, and remember thou that the gon signifieth dispersion, distribution, and radiation of a force, but the gram concentration. Hence use thou the gon for spreading and the gram for concentration and sealing. And when there is need, thou canst compare, interpose, and combine them, but the gon entieth the whirl. The hexagram with a single point uppermost is called the sign of the microcosm, or greater world, because its six angles fitly represent the 6 days or periods of creation evolved from the manifestation of the triune, while its synthesis forms the 7th day, a period of rest summed up in the hexagonal center. It represents especially the concentrated force of the planets acting through the signs of the zodiac, and thus sealing the astral image of nature under the presidency of the Sephiroth, and also the 7 palaces of the same. It is especially attributable to the sun. It is a symbol of great strength and power, forming with the cross and the pentagram a triad of potent and good symbols which are in harmony with each other. Remember, but it's harmony or disharmony. And Walmart's logo is the hexagon, the hex. It's the hex. Remember in Black Magic, so they're, this is very lazy. It's just something for intellectual brains to fall into. It really is. But there's still, we can see through the surface of it, because we're to a point now to where we're at the end of what they've been fucking working on for a long time, and they don't need us anymore. Now they're converting the slave trade of humans just into the harvesting of the blood, and then having a human race. They're fucking stupid with nothing in them, no spirit, no soul, nothing. They're just robots. And these forces of these symbols that are inverted, think about it. It's materialism. These fucking Walmarts are not real. It's demon. Blue, that has to do with Saturn. But I mean, it's like just people can't see how they wiped out all of the mom and pop stores, and now it went from, hell, there was people had jobs. Of course not. It's brand. So they go away. They've spent literally billions of dollars just on self-checkout machines, when it could have gone to communities, and then people still have jobs. But these fucking stupid goy that are stupid are in black magic mind mode. They can't see that. They can't see that now that's gone. Now there's machines in there just scanning. Next thing's going to be to where you just walk in the store, and whenever you walk out, it's deducted from your account. And if you don't have fucking certain satanic shots and all this shit, then you don't get to go be Arimon and go shopping and get sodas and everything. It's insane that these stupid idiot goy can't see it. And listen, I'm sorry, but I've got to care about them. But what's in me fucking is so pissed. The heptangle as a whole is referred to the 7th Sephiroth, Netzach. The heptagon naturally represents the dispersal of powers of the 7 planets through the week and through the year. It alludes to the power of the septenary acting through all things, as exemplified by the 7 colors of the rainbow. The heptagram reflected from every third point yieldeth 7 triangles at the whatever thereof, fitly representing the triad operating in each planet, and the planets themselves in the week and the year. The heptagram is the star of Venus, and is especially applicable to her nature. And as the heptagram is the lineal figure of the 7 planets, so is Venus, as it were, their gate or entrance, the fitting symbol of the Isis of nature, and the 7 lower Sephiroth of the bride. Now we're getting into some cool stuff. Octagon and octograms. The octangle as a whole the octangle as a whole is referred to the 8th Sephiroth. Hod. The octangle naturally represents the power of the octoad, and the octagon showeth the octoad operating in nature by the dispersal of the rays of the elements in their dual aspect under the presidency of the 8 letters of the name. The octagram reflected from every third point yields 8 triangles at the apices thereof, fitly representing the triad operating in each element in its dual form of positive and negative, under the powers of the name Yahweh, Adonai, or as it is written, bound together, Adonai. So positive and negative with octagon and octagram. All right, just from what we're reading from this print, from these images of these brotherhoods. So they're telling you that the 8 angles, which is 2 squares mainly, positive and negative. So you have the octagon when it comes to UFC fights. You know, these structures that they build are octagonal. Yeah. If you look these symbols, if you really look on, you know, these angles and stuff, that's how most these coliseums are all built, to harness the energy. Let me keep going. This octagram reflected from every 4th point is the star of Mercury, and is especially applicable to his nature. Mercury is the messenger of the gods, Prometheus. There's a Prometheus statue up in Rockefeller Plaza, which this has to do with fucking harvesting souls. It sure does. It is further a potent symbol representing the binding together of the concentrative positive and negative forces of the elements under the name of Adonai, and forget not that Adonai is the key of Yahweh. So what we have here is the binding together. Okay, so when people don't know what symbols are and circles and all that, they're already in a black magic hex. They've already put all the perfumes on and all the pills and all that, and their blood, they have conditioned themselves to be fucking hypnotized even more by fake shows that are for stupid, dumb, animal, human being goys. And those emotions that tickle the blood and all that have to do with materialism. It goes straight to the brain. They have no idea who the fuck they are. So when you don't know anything, they are creating. Like I've said before, there's no fairness in black magic. So you're going to have 2 negative forces working to really fuck you up and to keep you binded and chained, you know, to this fucking world. It is insane. So let's go an Enneagram. The Enneagle as a whole is referred to the 9th Sephiroth, Yesod. It naturally representeth the power of the Ennead, and the Enneagon showeth the Ennead operating in nature by the dispersal of the rays of the 7 planets and of the head and tail of the dragon of the moon. Some of y'all know what we're into. Dragons and shit. We know what dragons are. They have to do with Ahrimanic fucking demons. And they do. So, you know, when we're looking at this dialing pad and we're looking at these numbers and we're learning certain symbols and shit and all these octograms, enneagrams, angle and all this, okay, we're fixing to go to 10 and 11. Okay, so one of the big things about the number 9 with their 9/11 rituals, and like Kobe and his 9 within the helicopter and all that bullshit, it all has to do with summoning shit. And it all has to do with unseen shit that nobody knows about. Okay? And when you don't know what's going on, then that's the trick. It's to control the nervous system. You understand? And it says, the Enneagram reflected from every 3rd point representeth the triple ternary, operating both in the 7 planets with the caput and the cauda draconis of the moon, and with the alchemical principles counterchanged and interwoven. It is not so consonant with the nature of Luna as the Enneagram reflected from every 5th point. The Enneagram is the star of Luna and is especially applicable to her nature. So if 9 is going to be connected to Luna, to the moon, that means, but the moon controls forces down here, especially within our anatomy, the fluids, especially within our brain. So some of the trick is that you don't know anything about what that is up there at all. You're so disconnected. And so, you know, some of the black magic, now there's going to be demons behind all this. We're just looking at the surface, underneath the surface of this, on what the fuck's really going on with like gematria and shit like that. Because gematria, eventually you can look at all the numbers, but it's the real truth doesn't come to you through these books. You can unlock and get to a certain point, but then you have to be approached, so to speak. So the Enneagram is the star of Luna, so the number 9. Okay? And it's Yesod. So if we go over to all these seals, we go to this other book he's got. A seagull is a sign, a seal, which these are seals, and they represent divine forces. You know, just like your signature, it's a force representing you, which you're documenting. So the Enneagram is the star of Luna and is especially applicable to her nature. It represents her as the administratrix to the earth of the virtues of the solar system and under the Sephiroth. The Enneagram, reflected from every fourth point, is composed of 3 triangles united with a circle and alludes to the triple ternary of the 3 alchemical principles itself. It is not consonant with the nature of Luna as the previous form. Now the decagon, decagram, and the endecagram. So the decangle as a whole is referred to the 10th Sephiroth, Malkuth. The decangle naturally represents the power of the decad, and the decagon showeth the decad operating in nature by the dispersal of the rays of the 10 Sephiroth therein. The number of the degrees of a great circle cut off between its angles is 36, the half of the quintile astrological aspect. The decagram, reflected from every third point, is especially consonant with Malkuth and shows the triad operating through the angle of the 2 pentagons within a circle, of which it is composed. It alludes to the combination of the 3 alchemical principles with the spirit and the 4 elements in their positive and negative form, under the presidency of the 10 Sephiroth themselves. The decagram, reflected from every 5th point, is composed of 2 pentagrams within a circle. It shows the operation of the duplicated Ha of the tetragrammaton and the concentration of the positive and negative forces of the spirit of the 4 elements under the presidency of the potencies of the dive of Bina, the revolutions of the forces under Ima, the Great Mother. And that would be 10. Okay? And this is the endecad, endecagon, and decagram. The endecagram as a general rule is referred to the Qliphoth. So number 11. So 9 went over. So this represents 11. Represents the Qliphoth. Of its forms, however, the one reflected from every 4th point represents their restriction, and therefore it is not altogether to be classed with those that represent their operations in nature. The endecangle naturally represents the evil and imperfect nature of the endecad, and the endecagon represents the dispersal of the 11 fucking curses of Mount Ebal through the universe. Deuteronomy 27. Did I show you the other page? You can go back and read it. Now look, I know what you'll say. To the Ahrimanic biblical scholars out there, you'll say there's 12 curses. And it's like, no, although there is. If you go to Deuteronomy 27, King James Version, starting at 15, it's cursed be the man, cursed be he, cursed be he, cursed be he, cursed, 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 cursed. So there's 12 in there. But even down here, Rigardi even put, and they allowed this, it says, note by Rigardi, though they are paraphrased as 12 in the English Bible, in the Hebrew version they are paragraphed as 11, 2 being classed together. Okay? So now what we have is we have something that actually makes some kind of sense. Okay, when we're looking at like this right here. Let me put in this. The United Nations is Satan. It is Satan. All right, so what we have right there is that term United Nations ritual is 9/11. And remember, nations represent Ahriman. They're Ahrimanic in nature. And we've done videos, NATION, nation, ions. All these humans represent ions. It's what they do. So we'll go to the dodecagon. That's the 12. The dodecangle, as a general rule, is referred to the zodiac and naturally represents the power of the dodecad. The dodecagon shows the dispersal of the influence of the zodiac through nature. The dodecagram, its concentration. The number of degrees of a great circle cut off between its angles is 30, forming the weak astrological semi-sextile aspect good in nature and operation. So, the only reason I was wanting to just share that with you is it's like, because, you're going to see you're going to see this at churches. This will be on the front of all the churches. This right here is AA and a bunch of other shit. This is Target. How many of y'all played with them little flash cards when you were a child that looked like this? When you turn them over, it was, a roller skate, or some bird, and you had to match them up. Yeah. You'd flip them over and you just had to memorize which one you flipped over. Yeah, that right there was that game. And there's a bunch of other shit, I'm just saying. For all of them. But this is on the front of all the churches and everything. So if we're going to go over here, and it represents Chokmah. So it's going to represent number 2 right here. So, and that's the thing is you got to learn, there's a whole lot more to it. You got to get into magic squares and all this other shit. Those are seals. The seals of each Sephiroth and all this. It's not insane. It's very simple, but it's all we have to cipher. You understand what I'm saying? Because it's not real. But it's all we fucking got. And if you pay attention to their speeches, these presidents in the past, I think it was Ronald Reagan, he said, there's nothing hidden in this world. There's nothing hidden in this world. Now, I just have one question for you. Who the fuck would say there's nothing hidden in this world? Okay, what the fuck kind of meaning does that have? What does it help? What does it mean? Not one fucking person, not one group just pursued that. They just, every dumb shit. And it's just their president's speech. It's Jesuit shit, satanic, dumb speech is what it is. To control these fucking idiots. But that's the thing is, there is certain things hidden. We're only going to be able to get so far. Because they don't want us to know that we don't fucking need their books. We can get the answers. I'm living proof of that shit. I was given a whole lot of shit a long time ago, and I stayed the course. And I see it clearly now. And that's what the fuck's fucking with them, because it's like, oh shit. I can't explain this. What's happening with me has to do with Saturnian energy terminology that you would understand, and none of you even know anything about that. Very few do. But it has to do with like going way back into the beginning of everything. I've seen that. I've seen what's ahead. I've seen it's fucked up. But see, in this world, everything I've went over, your psychologist and shit will say, he's crazy, he needs this. And I can go, y'all are mediums. Let's say if I go to your practice, you've gone off of this book, hypothetically. So you go to this book and then relay what's in here to me, and you're a medium, you're nothing. This is the black magic magicians. the ones who have your career. You go learn and memorize their bullshit. You get a piece of paper that says you're big dick on the block, and then you fucking have authority or a demonic demon authority to say, no, I memorized this and I can prescribe all the black magic medicine I want to because I'm right and you're wrong when you're fucking wrong. Alright? But anyways, it's very important for you to just allow that to upload. Because, I mean, I still don't fucking understand shit. But I do understand one thing. I looked in that part, the 9 and 11 part, something came to me, but it has to do with that. It has to do with the fucking scripture. It has to do with all of it. Everything they tell you is not real. It can't be proven in a lab. Lab is bail backwards. It's insane. These fucking humans are not real. I love you.